Well, good Sunday afternoon, everyone. Unfortunately, another day of, this time around, as Jane's kind of been documenting a little bit here, extreme wildfire danger. And now we're starting to see that. We've seen a few alerts come through. You've probably seen them happen on your phone. We do have 2 fire warnings in the region right now, one in Potter and one in Oldham County as of right now up around Boys Ranch, and then the other at the Emerald Landfill. We've got chase teams out going to some of those fires. We also have some chase teams out monitoring a severe weather threat off in the eastern panhandles as well. And so, Jane, I know you've been here forecasting this here all afternoon. So tell us a little bit about what you've been seeing out there and kind of what people can expect here as we go on into the day.
No, yeah, thank you, Sheldon. As mentioned, we are in a first alert situation. Again, mainly for the wildfire conditions that we've seen across the Panhandle today, but also that severe weather threat off to the east as well. Well, let's jump in and take a look at what we're seeing right now. The entire Texas Panhandle is in a red flag warning for the day today. That just means all the conditions are there for wildfires to spark as well. But if we zoom in closer to home, take a look at Potter County, due to a fire warning that's currently in effect, and that's due to a fire that's at the landfill, Sheldon, right near Bushland as well. So latest reports are it's going to continue to move off to the east-northeast, but that's until 6:45. And again, we're going to have crews on that. We're going to send you out there in just a minute. But then we have a secondary fire warning as well. This one's up for Oldham County, and that one's moving off to the northeast around 3 to 5 miles per hour. So a little bit, getting some speed a little bit as it moves off to the north and east. So 2 main fires that we're keeping an eye on for you at this time. And a lot of it has to do with the conditions we're seeing right now, Sheldon. Like, we got some very strong wind gusts out there, over 40 miles per hour in most spots. You see, locally here, we're gusting up to 44. You see lots of areas up to 44 to 45.
Are we able to?
Up to the
or
north.
Is that trespassing?
But if we take a look at how our humidity, we're just very dry here as well. Like, our humidities are in the single digits for a lot of the region. That's some very dry air as well, and that's just also helping with the dead vegetation we have out there as well. If we've stepped outside at times, you could like hear it crackling under your feet.
Oh yeah, it's dry.
That's just how dry. We definitely could use the moisture, but that's also what's continuing this wildfire threat, and it's going to stick around, unfortunately, throughout the course of this evening. You see, even going in 6 o'clock and even further, those single digits are just going to stay within our area, but we might see the dry line retreat earlier tomorrow morning, so that'll help with those firefighting efforts throughout the course of the morning as well. Winds are going to stick around too. We may see a little bit of a reprieve throughout the evening, but especially in the eastern part of the region where that dry line is, you're going to get a secondary surge of winds as well, Sheldon. But as we go into the evening hours tonight, I do think we'll see those winds subside at least a little bit. It's still going to be breezy. Could see some wind gusts in excess of 30 miles per hour, but they will subside a little bit. But then we have to worry about tomorrow as well, and we'll be talking about that as we go throughout the course of the evening. So here's what the outlook looks like here for the fire weather outlook, and this is as high as it gets, Sheldon. This is extreme, 3 out of 3. And what this just means is, like, once again, all the conditions are there for wildfires to spark and quickly spread across the area. So that's why we tell you, sure you're taking your proper fire safety precautions, because we want to help keep you safe as well and any others across the region as well. And then, as we'll talk about later to this evening, it's going to continue tomorrow as well. This encompasses more of the Texas Panhandle region. But let's take a look on the opposite side of the dry line where we do have another conditional severe thunderstorm risk. You see areas such near Shamrock and Canadian, even Ellis County are under a level 2 out of 5 severe thunderstorm risk. We do have chasers on that as well, but we're not expecting widespread storm development. This is around 5 o'clock tonight. We could start seeing some initiation in the areas, and it'll continue to move off to the east. But the good news is I think all that activity will be out of here by the earliest 8 o'clock tonight. So it's not going to be a super long-lived event, but the threats that do apply are damaging winds, large hail, but we can't rule out a tornado threat either as well. So those are going to be the main things we'll be watching, and that's going to just be for the rest of today, but even tomorrow as well. So
really keep an eye on that wildfire threat. Like I said, we do have those 2 fire warnings out there, and of course, we've got actually Doppler Dave. He's out off in the eastern panhandle monitoring that as well. But we do want to remind folks what we're really seeing when it comes to these fire warnings. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch our screens right here and show you kind of what we're seeing on satellite and radar, because this is what we track when it comes to those hot spots. You'll actually kind of be able to see kind of right around the Amarillo area, kind of right there in Potter and Oldham counties. Of course, that's where those fire warnings are at. And so that's what we really watch for. Those fire warnings are issued at the request of local emergency management officials. officials. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that evacuation orders are in effect, but it does mean that that is something we could possibly be seeing as these, of course, fires advance. Like you were talking about earlier, Jaden, right now these fires are warned to be moving at about 3 to 5 miles an hour. And I mean, that doesn't sound like much, but when it comes to a wildfire, that's pretty quick.
No, especially if we've seen multiple fires over the last few days cross the road. It doesn't sound like it's fast, but when you see it cross, especially cross something that you're used to seeing every day, it can move at some quick speeds.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I just circled that there on our map. You can kind of see those black spots that are popping up. So that's going to be just to the east of Amarillo. Of course, like I said, if you know where the Amarillo landfill is, that's where that first fire warning we're tracking in Potter County. And then that second hotspot, you'll see it right there. It's kind of in far northeastern Oldham County, and that is up near the Boys Ranch area, up near Highway 385. And so we do have crews out there right now. You can kind of see it there just off towards our left here if you're watching us on our live stream right now. And so I'm going to go ahead and send it out there. That's currently Zach and Johnny, the newest member of our weather team, meteorologist John Gormley. He's out there as well. So John, we're going to send things out to you. I want you to go ahead and tell us where you're at right now exactly, and tell us what you've been seeing out there as you're getting pretty close to where that fire is right now.
Yeah, so right now we are just off of exit 60 from I-40 West. We're just off the intersections between the Indian Hill and Arnott roads. We have seen quite a bit of smoke. We haven't seen really any fires that are ongoing right now. We're too far from the actual fire itself to really get a visual on that. As far as like first responders go, we haven't really seen a whole lot of crews out here containing the fire. So obviously this is fresh. It's going to change with time, but we'll continue to keep you guys updated if things do change with that over the coming minutes. But we're going to change over and pivot to a new route and give you guys the latest on the visuals there once we get a new site on the fires there as well.
All right, thank you, Johnny. So that's where they're at. They're getting repositioned. They're going to be getting a close look at that. But this is a current live look from our Sky Tracker camera here at our News Channel 10 studios. This is looking straight off towards the east, right, or to the west, rather. That's looking there right at the Amarillo landfill, so you can see that smoke where it is right now. We still don't have any eyes just yet on that Boys Ranch fire up that direction just yet, but we do have those 2 fire warnings, so that's what we're really monitoring for right now. The thing is, of course, you know, as Jane was talking about earlier, we see those gusts 30 to 40 miles an hour. So that just shows you how quickly those fires can start and then really start moving as they get going. And so we're going to be following along with John Gormley. We got Zach Lockwood out there as well. And also just while they're getting repositioned right now, I also want to send things out to Doppler Dave. He's out live. He's tracking the severe weather threat that Jane was talking about there off in the eastern Texas Panhandle. And so, Dave, we're going to send it over to you real fast. Let us know where you're at and kind of what you're expecting there on your end of the Texas Panhandle right now, because obviously it's a little bit of a different threat of what we're tracking here around Amarillo.
Well, hey, yeah, thank you, Sheldon. We're kind of more geared towards the severe thunderstorm threat in our area, and it's just going to be the eastern couple of stacks of counties, especially up and down Highway 83, Childress to Shamrock, Wellington and Wheeler, all the way to Canadian, and then towards the Oklahoma border. So far, we've made it out on the other side of the dry line. I'll show you some puffy clouds we have out here. Dew points are above 60, or at least near 60, and we anticipate probably within the next hour or two some kind of storm development. We got a little bit of a cap that we have to break. Haven't quite done that yet. The Storm Prediction Center in Norman has outlooked our area, and so they're watching it very carefully. If we start to get some development, they're going to slap a watch box out here. There's some of the, congested cumulus that we're seeing so far. Just no big updrafts that have turned into thunderstorms yet. But all the ingredients are here. Should we get a storm to develop, I think it'll quickly become severe. I think we'll see some major updrafts. I think hail is going to be a big concern out here in our counties that border Oklahoma. And then it will just kind of come down to how they track and how long they last. I think as they drift east a little bit, again, right on the fringe of our area, rotating storms are going to be possible, and should that happen, we even have a tornado threat. So right now it's the waiting game. We're in the right target area where all the conditions are there. We just have to wait and see exactly when and how much development we get. So we got a couple of crews out there on the fires west of the dry line where it's dry and windy, gusting 45 miles per hour. We're windy out here, but the humidity is way up. So that's why we aren't as concerned about wildfires, but if there's going to be severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings, this is the area in our area, our viewing area, that would take place. So we're just out here hanging out on this first alert day. We'll cover that aspect as things get going within the next couple of hours. Sheldon and Jaden, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks, Dave. Yes, so of course, like he was talking about there on the eastern side of the Panhandle, you're seeing those more southerly winds keep that humidity up a little bit, right?
No, definitely, yeah. We're starting to see that humidity. At least it's a little bit increased. We take a look at our current humidity. It's not much, but definitely not compared to what we're seeing here locally in Amarillo. We've got those single-digit humidity values, and you could see some higher dew points off to the east as well. I know our dew points have been down in like the 20s, and like when we talk about dew point temperature as well, usually what you want to see in terms of like moisture, your air temperature and your dew point temperature closer together. It's just going to help you get a sense of how humid or how sticky it feels in the atmosphere, and we're seeing that disparity very wide today. We're at 90s in terms of our temperatures, and then even our dew points are in the 20s.
Yes.
So that's why you're seeing those single-digit humidity values. And compared to where Dave is, you still got those stronger winds, as we were just saying, but you also have the moisture aspect of it, which is why we also have that threat of severe weather.
Exactly, yeah, and that's kind of the big thing that we're missing out here. So, of course, if you're joining us on stream, we are covering 2 fire warnings in the area. We have our very own John Gormley. He's out pivoting towards the one near Amarillo landfill. So that's a fire warning that's currently in effect for Potter County. You can see the smoke there on Johnny's stream. So, Johnny, tell us a little bit about, of course, what you're seeing out there, because, I mean, it's easy to tell just by watching your stream right there, just how dry it is outside. Y'all also, just a little bit earlier, we're down around Canyon where the chocolate chip and Hungate fire were burning just a couple of days ago. So tell us a little bit about what you saw out there in terms of those dry conditions and just the things you see happening out there right now, as it looks like y'all are certainly getting closer to that fire.
Yeah, so currently, of course, we're on the fire warning over in Potter County, over in the Amarillo landfill. We're over on Dallow Road in the intersections of Two Deer Trail and then Mule Deer Road. We're seeing quite a bit of smoke going on right now. We don't have an official visual on the fires itself as of right now, but you could definitely tell with the amount of smoke that is going on right now through our Atlas camera on top of the car here. It's bringing off a lot of smoke across this area. So as far as first responders are concerned, we haven't seen a whole lot of activity just yet, but as we get closer, we can hopefully see that. But as far as earlier, we were trying to go down to the Canyon area. There was a lot of burnt brush from the Thursday and Friday fires, but luckily there was nothing re-sparked, but the ground clearly is very dry, and of course we're on the western side of the dry line, so that means it's very hot. We're getting that very dry air a lot, which is conducive for fires to spread rapidly, with the wind gusts getting up to 45 miles an hour. So this is going to spread awfully quick here, so that is why this is a very, very serious day when it comes to the critical fire danger. That's why we do have a first alert day, and of course we'll continue to track this for you guys once we get even closer into this fire right now here in Potter County. Yeah, for sure. Alrighty. So right now we're still on Two Deer Trail, starting to get into the intersections of Blue Quail Drive. And we're gonna check up on these fires here. We still don't have a visual yet, but you could definitely tell the amount of smoke that is being picked up into the atmosphere here. And they're spreading awfully quick because, again, the wind gusts are up to 45 miles an hour here. So we're concentrating on the fire warning that's over on the southwestern parts of Potter County, mainly off just towards the west of downtown Amarillo. As far as first responders are concerned, that's the first fire truck that we have seen taking care of this fire here so far, and we'll probably see more as we get closer here.
It did look like Texas Forest Service is on the scene, and they're going to be having motor graders help dig some fire lines.
So we're seeing a lot more fire trucks out there take care of the fire now. I think I saw 3 or 4 trucks out there, which is, of course, good news with this kind of fire and with the kind of conditions that are favorable here right now.
Orient myself, see if I can get a better shot. Okay.
All right, so we're going to continue sticking with Johnny's stream on this right here. Is of course he is on that fire that we do have a fire warning for. That is currently up at the Amarillo landfill. Now this is some information being passed along by the Potter County Sheriff's Office. This was posted just about 2 minutes ago, letting y'all know right now they are saying that they are doing voluntary, I want to reiterate here, voluntary evacuations on homes east of the landfill. That's going to be Two Deer Trail, Whitetail, Blue Quail, Bob White trails. All those roads over there near east of the landfill. So right now, of course, they're wanting people to stay alert to the situation. And of course, we're going to let you know if we get any mandatory evacuations or anything like that. But we do want to reiterate real quickly here, talking about voluntary evacuations on homes east of the landfill. That's Two Deer Trail, Whitetail, Blue Quail, and Bob White. So if you're in that area, voluntary evacuations right now. So it's definitely just a situation to be mindful of. But there we're going to continue to tag along with Johnny there. He is currently keeping an eye on that fire. So they're working to get a little bit closer. We're working to get some more information as well. So stay tuned for updates here as we continue to follow this rapidly developing situation. Currently fire warning for Potter County and a fire warning up in Oldham County as well, up around the Boys Ranch area.
So we're currently at the intersection of Two Deer Trail and then Whitetail Avenue. So we're pretty far out from where the fires are right now, but you could definitely see the amount of smoke that is being picked up into the atmosphere, and it's definitely caused quite the haze around this area. We're currently at the fire warning over just towards the west of downtown Amarillo, mainly southwestern of Potter County. And we'll just continue to monitor this as this fire goes by here. But yeah, definitely a serious situation for sure. But we're going to try to get more of a visual here in a couple minutes. So let's see what we got going on.
Dispatch, this is callback 41. We're going to be in service with the full crew.
Yeah, I'm going to turn the Atlas over here, Sheldon, because there has been a lot of people that have actually been on the streets over the last couple of minutes. It seems like they are driving out from the fire, which is, of course, the best thing you should do right now, since this fire, of course, is quickly spreading with how strong the wind gusts are. So you'll notice a lot of people driving out right now, and there's a lot more from the police coming into town to at least help out with people that are at least confused or at least need to get some guidance on what's going on here for sure.
I think we might take a block to try to get a better shot.
Yeah, let's do it.
I thought this would have. I know they're going to kick me out of that road, so I'm not going down there.
Yeah, because I'm looking. I'm not sure if from a street level where we're able to get into that here. This is probably where we're going to get the best shots here.
We can't go down there.
No.
No, they're not going to let us. Because they want access for fire trucks to get in and out of
Yep.
here.
Totally understand.
So we want to not be in their way. Who is making the sound? But I'm thinking we might be able to take the block and come out from the south
Yeah, for sure.
on the other side. That's the thing that really sucks about the firefighting in these remote areas is that there's only so many ways you can go.
Yeah, I know. This one, it's not very flexible here in terms of just getting to that fire.
Yeah. Like I said, we never want to do any harm with the first responders. They're the most important thing.
Yeah.
So if I gotta drive 15 miles to get the shot that's 100 feet away from it, that's what I'll do.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Alex and I did on Friday
It's
over at the River Falls Airport.
yeah.
Check in front of the Garden Center for a red pickup. Color states they've been there a couple hours.
So they're not even gonna let people in there anymore. Can I take a right? Yes, sir. Can I go right? Thank you. So now we're gonna take the big block.
For those that are just now tuning in, I'm meteorologist Johnny Gormley, and we are tracking the fires that are going on just towards the west of downtown Amarillo. There is a fire warning that is ongoing for southwestern parts of County. We're going to continue to give you the latest here as updates become available, but for right now, we're just trying to get a better visual on the fires that are going on. But we'll turn the cameras here and you can see the smoke that is just billowing up into the atmosphere. The fires continue to spread rapidly. Evacuation orders have been optional, at least for this area. But it looks like for the most part we've seen a lot of people evacuate, which is the safer option here for right now. Pulling off to the side here. A lot of first responders coming through this area, which is good news. We want to keep seeing them coming around. A lot of smoke. A lot of smoke. That's just not a good sign.
It's another thing for our viewers who might be around the area and the smoke, with it being at a landfill, especially dangerous to those who have vulnerable respiratory diseases or disorders. So
Oh yeah.
make sure, you know, you're using a mask if you're anywhere near this fire.
Yeah, the air quality is definitely on the unhealthy side here. Definitely dangerous if you're around these fires. Yeah, we're working to get closer to the fire right now. Just the way that this is laid out, it's pretty tough to get into the fire here right now, just because a lot of first responders have roads closed off just so they could get in there and take care of the fire. Yep. Yeah, lots of smoke. Lots of smoke. And it is very, very windy. Very windy.
Out a little. I won't shake as much.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to take a right here soon. We're going to come at it from the other angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think it's a good call?
I hope so. I hope they're going to let us get a little bit closer.
No, I
Because-
totally understand.
Well, my reasoning is that where we were at was downwind, which means that's where they're thinking it might continue to spread.
Yeah.
So by doing this, we're staying out of their way, and we're not putting
in the
ourselves
fire's
in-
path, exactly.
Exactly. So we're
It's a
just,
win-win situation.
Yeah, just safer for everybody involved.
Hey Sheldon, I got a question from a viewer. Is this streamed on the app by chance, or is it just on our website and Facebook? Okay. Yeah, so you're able to stream this on the app as well. Yep.
Alrighty. There's our first responders.
So right now we're just off of South Hill Road, just right off of I-40, and we're gonna try and get a better visual of these fires here. That's over on the landfill. Although it does look like the common theme, they have a lot of the streets blocked off here. See, we got first responders, they're preparing and starting to get in there to take out those fires. Always a good sign. More the merrier.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping
Yeah.
we can go right down where that truck is going.
Yeah. So we've already tried going down Dowell Road and turn on Two Deer Trail, and first responders have that road completely closed off. Let's see what we can get right here.
I don't know if we can go in there.
Yeah, it looks like we can't.
Coming from 39.
It says open to the public. I think we're fine.
Won't this guy go by first? Sometimes you just gotta take a chance.
Might as well.
Sometimes you just gotta take a chance. Somebody's behind us. Don't see no lights though.
Yeah, I think we're good.
This guy's on a butt. Always be a good shot. This is all I want.
Yeah, this is probably the best shot that we have gotten for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're over on the west side of downtown Amarillo. We're over on the fire warning just towards the southwest of Potter County.
Oh, we're
There's
NewsChannel
currently
10.
checking out the fires here. Give you guys 1 second, I'll update you.
Okay.
What do you say?
We have to leave.
All right, so we were told to exit out. So Sheldon, we're gonna have to pivot out. They told us we have to get out, so we're gonna try to redirect and see what we can do here. Yeah, we were. Did the guy say who he was for, or?
Nope. When they chase you and they tell you to get out, I tend not to ask questions. I just do what they ask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Don't want to rub people the wrong way.
fires across the Texas Panhandle. The fire in particular is over just towards the west of downtown Amarillo, and we're over on the southwestern parts of Potter County, where there is currently a fire warning, which that just essentially means that there is a fire that's currently ongoing, and that's just essentially warning people to be very cautious because it is spreading rapidly with wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour. And with how dry the air is, that is definitely a recipe for a disaster. So we're going to track it and give you the latest here, play-by-play essentially on this fire here. But for right now, we're just repositioning on this fire here.
Just went and did the same thing that we did.
Yeah. What? Interesting. I don't want to risk it. Yeah, that's really confusing. And you can see lots of smoke getting into the atmosphere. Lots of smoke for sure. The good news is that we've seen about, what, 5, 6 fire trucks. A lot of stuff out here to put out these fires, which is, of course, a good thing when it comes to these situations. So we are located at the Amarillo landfill. And right now we have the camera pointing mainly towards the east, which is where the fire is located. The fire is pretty much on the eastern sections of the landfill, and it's stretching into White Tail Avenue and stretching into Blue Quail Drive. So if you know anybody around those areas, definitely let them know if they're unaware of this, but I'm sure at this point everyone's aware.
Hey, Alex, is the dump public? Are we allowed to be on there? We just... Well, someone did kick us off, and then somebody pulled in as soon as they left. But I'm thinking that the City of Amarillo dump, I should be able to be on here.
I mean, the sign does say it's open to the public.
To the public. But it does say closed on Sundays, though.
We do see a police car pulling in, so we might stop him for a second. Because I would hate to go back in there and then they're like, we already told you to stay out.
I definitely don't want to cause any issues.
For sure, for sure. I-40 is still open. As far as Eagle Tree being evacuated, we haven't heard anything about that just yet. At least here at this chaser vehicle, but that could be different at the newsroom. Sheldon, do you know anything about that? Just a question from the viewer. They're asking about Eagle Tree being evacuated. Okay. Yeah, so any information on evacuations, just tune into the News Channel 10 website or app. Will post updates on there.
I'm gonna go try to talk to this cop real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Dispatch truck 546 has been released from the scene. We're back in service.
Getting a lot of questions about evacuations here. Okay, sounds good. I'm getting a lot of questions about evacuations. Here, this chaser vehicle, we're not at least being told what the evacuations are, so just tune into the website at newschannel10.com, and we have the list of all of the evacuations going on right now. Yeah, they definitely have this place on lockdown, that's for sure.
The only thing I can think of, this is insane.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely tough.
Alright, we're gonna try one more thing. We're gonna try going around Tascosa Road to get a shot of this fire, and then if we can't get a shot on that, that puts us in a position that we can pivot to the Boys Ranch fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have different crews on that fire, correct, Sheldon?
Yeah, he's got John out there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We're gonna try one more thing, and if we're not able to get a good visual on the fire, we're gonna pivot over to Boys Ranch.
There's a road that's probably a mile the way the birds fly from here, but the only way to get there is to go up through Tascosa Road. So we're gonna try to go around to see if we can get a better shot on this fire.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have to go all the way to Vega and head up 335.
Yeah.
I've had to do that before.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll try this out and then just see what happens. Oh, okay, yeah, that's perfect. Alrighty.
So he's coming in from the north right now, down to the...
He said he's coming in from the opposite side, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, for those tuning in, we're looking live at the Amarillo landfill fire. Right now we are repositioning to try to get a better visual on the fires here.
Go to Bushland and then head north. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. One time I was, about a month ago, we had it was the second round of fires up in Valle del Oro and Boys
Oh, yeah?
Ranch, and I had gone up Tascosa Road, and they had the road closed down, and I had to end up doing completely going around just to be a mile away from where I was.
Wow. And how long did that take you to get to that spot?
It took a minute.
I bet it did.
It took a minute. I had to go all the way down to Vega and then head north.
Yeah.
But this is kind of the little shortcut that I've always taken to get back around Tascosa Road or towards where the station is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like,
I was gonna say, I feel like I'm back in Illinois, because this is,
just open country.
yeah, just open, and it's all just, you know, if one is blocked off, you gotta go all the way around, and that's gonna take, you know,
It's gonna take
10
a
to
while.
15 minutes, if not even longer than that. So the fire that we're tracking is over at the Amarillo landfill, and right now we are repositioning to try to get a better look on this fire. Really? That's what they got? That's what they call it? I mean, it's called the Stinky Fire. I mean, I guess it checks out with where it's at.
It checks out to
Yeah.
what it smelled like.
Yeah. So it's called the Stinky Fire, and it is right now 0% contained. So still at a pretty large area of fire, which is not good news.
So if I'm not mistaken, on the maps, there is a little neighborhood just north of the landfill.
Uh-huh.
And I think the way that it goes down, we should have a shot straight across the way on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, let's hope we can get a good shot on this here.
It's getting pretty good from this angle.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and you could just see all the smoke just billowing up into the atmosphere. Just a large, extensive fire going on at the Amarillo landfills.
Okay, we are out in the eastern Panhandle around Wheeler. We just kind of stationed here, waiting for storm development. So our coverage should be a little different than what's taking place back there close to Amarillo and Boys Ranch, because we are about the only place in our area that might have actual severe thunderstorms, including hail, wind, lightning, maybe tornadoes. We're just on the east side of the dry line in the eastern part of the Texas Panhandle. It does look like conditions are trying to come together. We had an update from the Storm Prediction Center, and they indicate that they may be putting a tornado watch out at some point here, about an 80% chance of that. Moisture is actually increasing here, so as temperatures continue to kind of rise and hit their peak for the day, we're kind of energizing the atmosphere. So if this continues to come together, I think we'll have a watch from about, say, Pampa eastward. That's where I think we may have some of our eastern counties involved in that watch box. Again, we're just kind of playing the waiting game. I see a few new updrafts here and there, just nothing that's really gone ballistic just yet. Kind of you see a bubbly atmosphere. But it's a lot different than back where, like, Johnny is tracking fires where it's completely clear. You see the bubbly clouds. That indicates we do have moisture and we're warming that up. And so we're starting to bubble the atmosphere. And if that trend continues, we might have a stronger updraft take off. And then it'll just be a matter of us kind of zeroing in on the action, kind of picking out a dominant storm and seeing what happens right here along the Oklahoma border in our eastern counties. So that's kind of the latest assessment. We don't have any big storms taking place just yet, but we might be in the initial stages of that. We're kind of anticipating some kind of watch box issued out here sometime soon. So we're in position, just waiting. when that happens, we'll let you know. In the meantime, we've got the wildfires that are kind of keeping us occupied there back west of Amarillo and then up around Boyd's Ranch. So I'll send it back to you guys to get more on the fires. Back on you, Sheldon.
I think they're working on some. Yeah.
Okay.
Just want to sit on this for a little bit.
All right. Man, we're rocking out there, aren't we?
Almost 60 dew point Canadian.
It's going up.
I think Sheldon said he's going to throw it back out to us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Our signal's very spotty, so if you can hear me, Sheldon.
Oh, okay.
What do you say?
He said just let us know. So right now we're heading to the Stinky Fire.
Yeah, we're heading over to the Stinky Fire over at the Amarillo landfill. There's currently a fire warning that's ongoing right now, and again, that just means that there's a large fire that's in progress. The latest updates that we got is that it is 0% contained, which is something that you don't want to hear. You obviously want to hear that percentages go up. But we saw a lot of first responders out there taking care of the fire, so we expect those numbers to change here within minutes here with the amount of people that are out there. But we are rerouting to that fire. There has been a lot of roads closed off, so we've basically been unable to get a good visual on the fire. So that's where we're doing right now. We're on 1061, so we should be at this fire here in just a few moments and then we'll see what's going on.
Yeah, GPS has us about 5 minutes out to where I think we will be able to get visual inside the landfill. Amarillo police have been working to make sure people stay clear out of that area.
So I got lost connection again. Oh no.
Right now we are currently about to go into this neighborhood off of Ranch View Road.
So we're starting to get into Bishop Hill. The car, and we're going to try to get a good visual on this fire here. We're starting to get pretty close to it. I will say, just based off from a distance, it looks like the smoke has really dropped compared to what it was, 30 minutes ago, which is a sign. I know we got updates that it's 0% contained, but those numbers might be changed now.
Okay, you're just letting me go? Okay.
I think he's pulling off to the side.
Nice.
Thank you.
This is actually the second time I have been to a fire off of this road.
Really?
Yeah, that's how
When was the first time?
It was behind one of these folks' houses.
Okay.
And basically the exact opposite thing happened, is I had to drive all the way to the other side to get a shot.
Mm-hmm.
say 1061.
What does that mean? What happened?
The scanner.
Yeah, 74 windows on. Y'all will be able to get this knocked out pretty quick. There's a dozer box in the house on fire.
All right, so we're getting pretty close to this fire here, so we're gonna get a visual here in just a few moments. Curious to see if any of these roads are gonna be closed off like the others have been. Right now we're coming in from East H Drive. It just got off of 1061 eastbound heading into Bishop Hill. So we're basically looking on the southern side of the Amarillo landfill, and we're almost on top of it here, so we're gonna get a good visual here in just a few moments.
A lot of smoke in this area.
Yeah, it's gonna say there's a lot of smoke being picked up, and
It is adequately named.
yeah, and smells not pleasant.
So we've got air planes in the area.
Oh yeah,
Of
let
the
me try
stinky
to
fire.
change the camera here. We do have a plane flying by here. Yep.
I'm not sure if they're scouts or if they're actual,
There you go.
but yeah.
We got planes flying by now. That's the first plane visual we've had of for at least this fire.
1342 southbound, check for a white Ford pickup. Running under the speed limit, it's speeding up. Looks like both the driver and passenger had open bottles.
All right.
See if we can.
So currently we're still looking at the Amarillo landfill. We're on the western sections of East H Drive. We're gonna try to pivot and get a closer look here. It has the name for the reason, guys. It's not pleasant.
Dispatch letter 127 is now released from the scene. Will be in service in Channel 1.
the chaser vehicle. Can you guys hear me? I got word that our chaser vehicle, there's no audio. Are you guys able to hear us? Okay, cool. Oh,
Yeah, we're all good.
Okay, cool.
We had talked to some folks here.
gotcha.
That's what happened. So are we on us still right now, Sheldon?
Yeah, I believe they're still on us. Okay, awesome. Well, now that we've kind of reset here, let's see. But for those that are tuning in, I'm meteorologist Johnny Gormley, and we're currently watching some fires that are going on across the Texas Panhandle. We're currently on the fire down on the Amarillo landfill, just towards the west of downtown Amarillo. There's currently a fire warning that is going on in southwestern parts of Potter County. That just means that there is a fire that is ongoing, and it is spreading rapidly because, again, you got to keep in mind with how dry the atmosphere is along with the ground. We're also tracking wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour. So once these fires get going, they are going to spread rapidly, and unfortunately we have seen that quite a bit here over at this landfill. 5 acres so far have been burned according to the latest update, and so far it is 0% contained. So right now a fire that is definitely progressing in all directions here with the direction of the wind speed. Now keep in mind the 0% contained was quite a while ago, so hopefully those numbers have changed at this point in time. But you're looking live from West East Stage Drive, looking down into the Amarillo landfill. So this is basically the southeastern sections of the landfill here. Yeah, you can just see all the smoke that is just being picked up into the atmosphere, and there is a large extension of smoke. If we turn it over to the left, you can see all the smoke just being carried over into downtown Amarillo. So even into northwestern Amarillo, going to be dealing with some of the smoke. Now, this fire definitely won't be extending over there into downtown, but definitely the air quality will definitely be impacted. So those with respiratory illnesses, definitely be mindful, reduce the amount of time outside if you're under the smoke. Of course, now if you're under evacuations and if you do have to move, definitely wear a mask here. But fire definitely not the only concern. The air quality is another big threat with this here as well. We got a little change of plans here.
I think we're gonna. So Sheldon was saying they've got a pretty good shot on this with the tower cam.
Okay.
So I think since we're over off of Tascosa Road, it'd be a good pivot to head towards Boys Ranch, see what that's kind of doing.
Yeah, we did see the smoke from Bishop Hills already, so it's definitely going. It's going pretty quick.
But the good news is it looks like it's staying on that side of the canyon or of the ravine between us and the landfill. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So hopefully people on this side.
And I was saying this a little bit ago. I don't know if you heard me, but while people are saying it's 0% contained, I definitely think it is looking like it is treated by first responders here. It doesn't look as intense, or at least as widespread as it was quite a bit ago.
I'd say it definitely looks in better health than it did when we first got here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna head towards Boys Ranch.
Alrighty. So next stop is Boys Ranch, and we'll continue to update you guys.
Man, that is a particular smoke smell.
A stench.
Yeah, hopefully this one winds down soon. I would think with as isolated as it is, and with first responders actually having decent access to it,
Yeah.
I would think that they're going to be able to work on that one pretty well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's not going to be like getting down in these canyons and ravines.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely had that. I mean, because all the streets were closed off. I mean, they have that on lockdown. I mean, they got so many people treating that fire. So while the latest update is 0% contained, I definitely think those numbers are way higher than what it is right now, for sure.
Just got a notification saying that there's a flare-up on Hungate and Arnott.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Those were Thursday's fires. So I just want to double check with you, Sheldon, before we head out. I saw that notification as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you, Sheldon.
Sounds good.
Looks like I'm losing connection here a little bit again.
Oh,
Getting into that little spot. All right, cool. Thank you, Jaden. Yeah, so for those tuning in, we were just at the Amarillo landfill fire. Right now, the latest update has it at 5% in terms of the acres burned. 0% contained, but just like we've been talking about over the last couple of minutes, we think those numbers are much higher than 0% contained, because it looks like the fire, at least the smoke, has definitely dwindled over the last 30 minutes or so. But right now we're heading over to Boys Ranch. We're going to check out that fire over there, since there is currently another fire warning in that area. But yeah, so we're going to be fire and then heading over to Boys Ranch fire. So stay tuned and we'll give you the latest as we get closer to that next fire. The Boys Ranch fire is also called the Blue Diamond Fire. So far, it's estimated 500 acres are burned, which is pretty significant. No word on containment. So it's definitely not a good sign, but we'll give you the latest here as we continue to get closer to this fire.
Yeah, and this is where we're going to. Boys Ranch has been hit by wildfires at least 3 times this year. It's been a sad state of affairs for this section of Oldham County.
Yeah, for sure. So again, we are departing from the Amarillo landfill fire, and we're heading over to fire.
For the whole
Oh yeah, I know. It's very pretty. Checking out the smoke, maybe.
Looks like it might be spreading a little bit with the way these are coming off.
Yeah.
Looks like it got smoke from a different. I have lost my connection with our team.
Yeah, I lost everything.
You can kind of see the effect of it over there.
Yeah. That's so cool. Welcome to Texas.
So Sheldon, has John made it up there yet? Okay. 10-4. Well, might be getting our answer right now about getting to Boys Ranch.
Yeah. Yikes. Looks like the road is completely closed off here.
We're gonna find out from this officer.
Try and go and talk to him here.
How you doing, sir? We're News Channel 10. Y'all got the road closed?
Yeah, they turned us around. Yeah, they turned us around. Road is closed off, only for residents only. So we're going to be detouring around.
Right here at the floating mesa on Tascosa Roads where they shut down the road. So they said from there to 385 is closed. So I think we're going to try to go 287 north and then take Masterson over.
Yeah, pretty much right on the intersection of 2381 and 1061
Yeah.
is where they're blocking it off right now.
And no smoke visible.
No, this time around when we passed it, we didn't see any smoke. When we took right on this intersection about an hour ago, there was a lot of smoke back there.
Yeah.
Maybe it was an hour ago. I don't know. Feels like an hour.
Yeah. Time slips inside the chasing vehicle.
So for those that are just now tuning in, I'm meteorologist Johnny Gormley, and we were just at the Amarillo landfill fire. Now that we weren't able to get a good visual on that, we're starting to pivot over to Boys Ranch, where they have a fire ongoing right now. That one looks to be a lot more impressive than what the landfill fire has done so far. With that said, both are bad, of course, but we're going to try and get visuals on our next fire here. So stick around and we'll show you the next fire here over at Boys Ranch. The fire over in Boys Ranch is also called the Blue Diamond Fire, and it's estimated 500 acres so far has been burned, which is of course awful. Especially in comparison to the Amarillo landfill fire, it's only burned 5 acres. So definitely a major jump in that category, but no words on containment with the Blue Diamond fire. And we haven't gotten a latest update. But that number definitely is way up, considering what we've seen. So
They're ready.
looks like I'm out of Unity. There we go.
Hey, Sheldon. So with this being closed off, and you said John is coming in from the north to Boys Ranch, right? Okay, so I think we're actually going to try to come up from the south on 385 then, because we would both have the same angle from the fire. Does that make sense?
That's a good point.
Because I don't want to have to go all the way around Masterson and then back if we're just going to have the same shot. So I think we're going to head down to Vega and take 385 north. I can't hear anything. I lost my comms.
Sheldon says it sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still into Unity here.
Yeah, because it would take us right through Channing the way that I was thinking. So
yeah,
I don't want to.
That's what Sheldon just said. Yeah.
I'd rather split up and.
No, I lost signal. No. Nope, we back.
eastern side.
Yeah, I've been looking at radar scope and I see like some little discrete showers, but I'm not really seeing anything really going, so they're kind of just sitting.
Gotcha.
They're under a convective discussion though for a potential watch, at least for the eastern parts of the viewing area, but nothing has been placed yet.
Gotcha.
Just looks like rain and storms are having a tough time to fire up.
It might work better through that one.
So the ending, or at least the tips, I'm not
Oh,
able
not the
to.
same?
Yeah. I just got USB-C across the board here.
Gotcha.
We love iPhones, right? They change it every year.
Yeah.
Every year.
I'm glad we're finally to a USB-C.
Yeah.
So we are currently on the loop in Amarillo. We are heading towards I-40, then Vega. We're gonna head north towards Boys Ranch to get eyes on this fire.
There you go. A good call outs on that, because it's like I'm so new around here. I don't know where I don't know where we're at. I gotta look at Google Maps here.
That's the good. Luckily, Amarillo's not too part of a general area.
Yeah,
It's on the grid system for the most part. So, but
for sure.
I've definitely had to learn in the 6 years I've been here.
It's definitely a learning curve.
Yeah. But we go and shoot sports all throughout the Panhandle, so that's really helped me learn things.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah, Doppler Dave was like, we're not going to put you on until, you know, all the counties and the town names, you know. And I fully understand, you know, it's respect for those areas. But,
Oh, for sure.
you know, I actually made a Quizlet of memorizing all the counties, because at the last station I worked at, there was only 10. Here it's 44.
Yeah.
So it's a major jump. And, of course, you want to make sure the pronunciations of the towns are correct and know all the counties. So,
Oh, yeah.
so I've been locked in on that for the last few weeks while I've been under the training phase, and yeah, it's been a lot.
Yeah, there's some interesting ones around here, too.
Yeah, because what is it? It's not Oldham, it's Oldham.
Oldham, yeah.
Oldham. Yeah, that's so like,
Yeah.
man. No, I struggled with Lipscomb County at first, and then Okeechobee.
Yeah.
Those were throwing me off a little bit. For those that are tuning in, we are just now transitioning from one fire and heading off to the next. For about 2 hours or so, we were over at the Amarillo landfill fire, also known as the Stinky Fire. And now we're heading over to Boys Ranch Fire. Yeah, I was gonna say, we got a
Yeah, we got a little bit of a visual on it.
little visual from over here of the remnants here, because we think it's definitely contained.
But that thing is kicking up a lot of smoke now.
Yeah, and that's the
Seems like
thing,
it keeps
just
going
lots
back
of
and
smoke.
forth.
Lots of smoke. Okay, sounds great.
Could you give us that address again?
Trying to get the camera back on the smoke. I think we've lost the visuals here. Yeah, we definitely lost visuals there for a little bit, but we'll probably see it again as we get back on I-40.
Oh yeah, we'll have a visual on it any second.
All right, we're merging onto I-40 West here.
One logo.
Yeah, that's where the smoke would be over there, over at the Amarillo landfill fire. That's where we're at for a couple hours. Once we pass the semi, we'll probably get, yeah, there you go. And there's that smoke. This is over at the Amarillo landfill fire. And like we said, it's not as big as it was a couple hours ago, but sure, it's still causing quite a bit of issues. Just from the fire, and then of course the air quality around that area. Look at that. Very extensive. It's just the smoke is impacting so many people because wind gusts are going crazy right now, up to 45-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So that smoke is blowing,
Oh yeah.
and it's getting into all the neighborhoods, so that air quality is just not going to be good.
It's like even if your animals are out, or if you got pets, or you got church friends that are just hanging out on a Sunday afternoon, you might want to call them up, let them know that not the best breathing conditions over near the hills.
For sure, yeah, absolutely.
I can see smoke all the way that way.
Yeah. Not sure what that is.
I think that's the Arnott Homegate fire. So that would be just about due south of us.
Oh wow.
Are they doing water drops?
Water drops over at the Boys Ranch fire. Oh wow.
that's where we were just. We took.
Yeah, that's where we got off.
Yeah.
So that was exit 60, right?
Yeah. So I'm like 99% sure we're going all the way down to Vega.
Huh?
I said I'm 99 point. Yeah, we're going down to Vega and then taking 385 north.
Okay, sweet.
And hopefully we'll be on the other side of where John Doherty is.
How long is it gonna take for us to get there, do you
It's
think?
about a 40-minute drive.
40, oh no.
Oh yeah. But in the Panhandle, 40 minutes actually ain't that bad.
Really?
I mean,
Really? Wow.
75-mile-an-hour speed limit in most places.
All right, so hopping on here real quick. This is a live stream from our storm chaser, John Doherty, right now. There you caught a quick glimpse of it there. He's up near the Blue Diamond Fire. Looks like he's just north of Boys Ranch. Looks to be on 385. You saw a great shot right there of one of those helicopters flying through, carrying those buckets of water. We'll see if he gets another shot of that. We had it there for a split second. Here we go. Looks like he's hopping out of the car real quick. We'll be getting a good shot of that. There we go. Okay, here we go. We'll let him see if he gets a good shot of that. There you see it. Got those helicopters, so they are getting some aerial support there. This is currently looking at the Blue Diamond Fire. They're up in Oldham County right now, of course, where we do have that fire warning that's in effect currently. Of course, that's in effect until about, if I am not mistaken, about 7:30 Central Time. So we're getting some pretty good shots of the aerial support. Our own meteorologist, John Gormley and Zach, they're headed up that same direction. They're going to basically, what they're going to do is try to give us a different perspective of this same fire. So this is from the north side. This is on 385, north of that Blue Diamond Fire, and then we'll be waiting to see, of course, some visuals coming in from the south side of that fire. But there you can see some amazing shots right now of those helicopters bringing in those buckets of water. So we're going to sit here for a moment, watch this take place, and see it dropping those buckets there. We saw a few planes up there as well. Looks like they've got some pretty good aerial support. So we're going to tag along with this stream here pretty quick. There's the planes going in there. You see it happening live, dropping that water there on the fires. Does look to be at least where that specific airplane was dropping some water there. Looks like the smoke wasn't quite as bad, but they're a little bit further off towards kind of the east and northeast. You can definitely see where that smoke is a lot heavier right now. Just getting some amazing pictures there from our storm chaser, John Doherty, right now. We'll keep a close eye on this. We're going to keep watching this stream here for a moment. There we go. There you got the helicopter flying in. Big props. I mean, really, we've seen, these past couple of days, we've seen just some awful wildfire conditions around a lot of the region. But thankfully, I mean, we've got some great fire crews. We've got some great first responders who've really been doing some great work, keeping these fires under control and doing everything they can to keep them away from from property and from folks and from communities around here in the Texas Panhandle. So we're going to continue to stay on this. This is our storm chaser, John Doherty. He currently has some great live shots. We're going to go and actually bring in here real quick. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a split screen action right here. Get some great shots of their aerial coverage. Okay, so we're going to top left, we'll leave that there. And then we're going to bring in, okay, there we go. All right, we got your mic brought up here. If we want to got Jane Ramkasoon in here as well. What we've been watching here so far, we've been seeing helicopters, airplanes dropping water. This is currently on 385, just north of the Blue Diamond Fire there up near Boys Ranch. We've been getting some pretty great images out of that. We'll keep watching this for a little bit here, see if we can get some more shots of those aerial crews knocking it down right now. Certainly doing some great work. It's always impressive to see those airplanes and helicopters.
Oh, you can see some flames on there too.
Oh, yep, you're right. Yep, got some flames there as well. Oh, there we go. Yep. Dave with the jackrabbit on his stream right now.
You could clearly see those flames
there
just behind the trees.
Yeah, we're getting flames on the Boys Ranch fire right now. Keep an eye on that. For what it's worth, too, I'm sure if you're seeing the same thing, Jane, there, but they're on the stream right there above us.
Yeah.
Really looks like that smoke's getting a little bit lower. Of course, I mean, obviously still fire ongoing there. That's the stinky fire there up near the Amarillo landfill. Looks like they're doing their best to get it knocked down. The smoke's certainly not near as bad as it was, but also the wind is probably blowing that smoke across as well. As you notice, that smoke is staying lower to the ground now.
No, yeah, that's right. We've seen the winds continue to maintain their speed throughout the course of the afternoon as we're heading into the evening hours as well. So that's going to be another threat as well, as we've harped on a lot during this stream. If you have any respiratory illnesses that can be easily triggered, do your best to avoid that area.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to keep an eye on that as well. We've also been watching, we've been watching for the possibility of any severe watches being issued. And so far we haven't gotten any severe watches in the area. Of course, we still have these fire warnings that are still ongoing, but still seeing the possibility, of course, of some wildfire conditions. So Jay, now if you've got some things that you want to talk about here real quick, we can bring in your forecast graphics and see what you've been seeing as we kind of go into this afternoon and this evening.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Sheldon. Let's actually do a quick forecast update as we go throughout the next few hours. So as mentioned, we're still in a first alert situation due to that wildfire threat. This is all the alerts we currently have on our viewing area. Red flag warning in effect for the entire Texas Panhandle region. But if we zoom in a little closer,
Just so
we still have those
crazy.
fire warnings for Potter County.
Like I lost it when we were first pulling in. You know, from the long drive from Cincinnati to get here, it was just, it was just like, it went from all the obstruction, because back in Ohio and even stretching through like Oklahoma, you know, you got all the obstruction with the trees and homes and buildings, and here it's just nothing, flat.
Yeah.
And there's even some intense terrain, you know, from like along the Ohio Valley.
Miles per hour. But for now, those are the two main new fires that we're tracking across the area. Taking a look at Doppler radar, not too much going on. You do see a little bit of action trying to get going off near Canadian and into Ellis County, but we're not seeing any of those robust thunderstorms just quite yet. Take a look at our current wind gusts. Winds have sustained themselves across the region. You do see wind gusts in excess of 40 miles per hour. And if you look up towards Clayton, getting close to that 50 mile per hour threshold. But I want to draw a line right here that you see there's a change and a shift in winds directly between these two lines. You have winds out of the southwest on the left side of this boundary, and then winds out of the southeast on the right side of this boundary. That is the dry line that is separating the warm, moist air from the warm, dry air across our area. And over the course of the evening, we're going to see it meander and retreat back into our area. So here's a current look at the humidity across the area. If you take a look at Canadian, you see that humidity has risen. We're not down in those teens or single digits, but everyone else is continuing to remain very dry, and that's also helping provide a lot more fuel for those wildfires out there. We're going to keep it around throughout the course of this evening, but we're going to see that dry line fully retreat going into overnight and into tomorrow morning. We could see some humidities as high as 80%, maybe 90% in some spots, so that's definitely going to help with the crews out there fighting those fires, hopefully get them all under control. But then as we go into the evening, we're going to see that dry line blast off towards the east once again. And this time it's going to encompass everyone. So even out towards Canadian, Wheeler County, Ellis County, even down towards Hardman County as well. You're going to be seeing those abnormally dry conditions once again. We could have a humidity as low as 4% in Amarillo. That is very dry air, and that's just we're gonna see those wildfire conditions unfortunately come together again across our area. So going into this evening around 8 o'clock, this is what we're expecting from the winds. We're starting to see those winds die down a little bit. Unless you're on the eastern side of the dry line, you still see some of those higher numbers. But then going into the evening hours, I think when you wake up tomorrow morning, could see winds around 15 to 20 miles per hour, not looking at stuff that's too blustery compared to what we've seen over the course of the afternoon. But then we're going to see those winds quickly ramp up once again out of the southwest. You could see sustained winds of 30 miles per hour. So those gusts could get up to 50 plus in some spots. And then it's just going to continue throughout the course of the afternoon. So in terms of our fire weather outlook, got another extreme risk for the day tomorrow. So you're going to want to keep that first alert weather app handy as we go into the day tomorrow. Be very vigilant and take any proper fire safety precautions once again, as all the conditions are going to be ripe for wildfires to spark as we go into your Monday. Still watching the potential for some severe weather. As Sheldon mentioned just now, we're still seeing that slight risk for our eastern counties. And as we go into tomorrow as well, a lot more of our area is going to be in the level 2 out of 5 risk. You do see all our eastern counties stretching from all the way near Perryton down to Paducah as well. Obviously, the worst severe threat is going to be off to the north near Wichita, especially central Kansas. But we can still see some development along the dry line as we go into tomorrow. Main threats are going to be very similar to today. If we do get any storms to fire up, large hail, damaging winds, and we can't rule out an isolated tornado as well. And just looking at our high resolution model, at least for the rest of tonight, still watching for some development down near Childress and just to the south of Shamrock, but any activity that does form is going to quickly move out of the area and into central Oklahoma as well. So we'll be here monitoring that for you guys over the next few hours or so. But if you're doing any activities for this Sunday evening, it is definitely still very hot. Lots of temperatures in the upper 90s. We're currently at 96 in Amarillo. 99 out in Pampa, 93 in Canadian. So I know Dave's probably feeling some of those mid to upper 90s out where he's at right now. So still pretty toasty, Sheldon. Still feels like we're in the middle of summer, but we're still in May. So definitely seeing how that's feeling right now. But we're going to keep monitoring everything for you guys as we go throughout the next few hours or so.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, still seeing some pretty striking images here out of the Blue Diamond fires. This is from our storm chaser, John Doherty, right now. As you can see, they've got those helicopters out there. We've been seeing those planes flying around. I mean, you can see he's just right underneath them. So as they're dropping those water buckets, basically, they're on the Blue Diamond fire. And then you'll see just right above us, that is a current live stream. This is from our News Channel 10 Sky Tracker camera right here on our tower. That is looking, of course, just off towards the west at the Amarillo landfill. That is what we call it, what we've now been seeing is called the Stinky Fire there on the Amarillo landfill. So let's get the latest numbers for you here as of right now, as we do have a couple of active fires in the region. Now, as of right now, latest from the A&M Forest Service is that the Stinky Fire is currently at 5 acres and is 5% contained, and then the Blue Diamond Fire, they currently have it at 500 acres. Latest from the Forest Service is a 0% contained here as of right now. And then there was a quick little flare-up at the Hungate Fire. Latest from them is still 85% containment on the Hungate Fire there down around Canyon. There were some reports of a small flare-up, but I believe what we're seeing on satellite and radar, we're not seeing any hot spots right now, which is, of course, some really good news. And so really glad to see that. And so we're going to check back in with Johnny. He's out live in the Weather Atlas right now. And so, Johnny, I'm going to send things back out to you real quick. Tell us again where you're at and what y'all are seeing there as you're getting repositioned to go see what's going on there at the Blue Diamond Fire.
Yeah, so we were just over at the Amarillo landfill fire for several hours. We weren't able to get a really good position on it just because the first responders just had everything shut down. I mean, that's with the kind of size of that fire, I mean, that's obviously going to be expected. Just so that way a lot of the first responders can get in there as quick as possible, especially fire trucks to put out the fires. But when we left, we did see some improving trends. There were a lot of the fires that are definitely being put out. We don't know what the latest update is in terms of its containment. But originally what we heard, it was 0% contained, but over the last couple hours, the smoke has definitely dropped. The fires definitely did not look as widespread, so those are definitely promising trends. But just in the latest update, I'm not sure if Sheldon did bring it up, but they did extend that fire warning for another 2 hours over at the Amarillo landfill area. So that's going to go on for 2 more hours, so just be wary in the southwestern parts of Potter County. But for right now, we're still probably, 20-30 minutes out to the Boys Ranch fire.
Yeah, we're
the Blue Diamond.
Heading to the Blue Diamond fire. We are currently just got off I-40, getting onto the access road in Vega. Going to be taking 385 north.
There you go.
And we're going to try to get the different perspective from John. He's on the northern side from Channing, heading south to Boys Ranch, and we are going north. And hopefully we can get some views that complement each other.
Yeah, Yeah, for sure. So we're going to be on the northern side, and then we're going to be on the southern side. We're going to get different perspectives on this fire, because this fire by far has been the worst today. The latest updates, we heard like 500 acres were burned, and we're not sure on the containment on that one. So hopefully it is improving. We know John is over there getting the visuals right now. We saw there was a lot of airplanes dropping water down into the fires. That was a sight to see for sure. But in terms of first responder, you know, fire trucks or police, we're not sure on those numbers, but I'm sure we can change those numbers and know for sure once we get there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and then they call it the Blue Diamond Fire, so quite the name. So stick around, and we'll give you guys some updates here once we get closer towards this fire. But for right now, we're still just driving along here, getting closer to Boys Ranch. And this is after we were at the Amarillo landfill fire for several hours, and they also called it the Stinky Fire. I mean, hence where the fire's at. I mean, it's definitely smell pretty bad for sure.
Yeah. And anybody with any kind of ailments, respiratory issues, anything like that.
Yes, for sure.
Make sure you're just keeping safe, masking up.
Yeah.
Keeping that particulate from entering your lungs. Just want to make sure that any of our, you know, vulnerable populations are taken care of. Check on your neighbors. Check on your people you go to church with.
Yeah.
Just make sure that, you know, your neighbor is doing well and has the support they need.
Yeah, that's a good point you brought up, because I mean, everyone's just been so focused on the fires. Like, are the fires going to keep spreading? Are we going to be ordered to evacuate? But, you know, other people are just not really understanding the other severities of this event, which is the air quality. So yeah, that's a good point to bring up for sure.
And so we just got into Vega now. We are heading north on 385.
Wow.
Last time I've been on this road was to head to a fire in Valle de Oro about a month and a half ago. And it's something else to see our first responders, because, you know, a lot of these areas, they're kind of waterlocked. They don't really have access to potable or water that they can put fires out with.
For sure.
So I've seen fire trucks drive up and down this road trying to get water from Vega to go back up to
Oh wow.
So it's really hats are off to all of our first responders out
Yeah,
here.
kudos to them. I mean, ever since Thursday last week, I mean, we've just had very high fire conditions since Thursday. I mean, Thursday was a severe weather setup. I mean, it's what we call the Virga effect, where we have thunderstorms aloft, but the rain is just not making it towards the ground, and so we get this dry thunder and lightning, and that just causing problems with, you know, once lightning hits the dry ground, you know, it's gonna start a fire really quick with the wind gust. So that was Thursday's problem. And then Friday, of course, was just very hard to see some of the fires that really got going Friday.
Yeah.
Similar situation, but it was mainly just the heat and the dryness and the wind. And then we still have very similar conditions, you know, throughout the weekend. Saturday we got, you know, we still had fires, but at least it was a lot more settled compared to Thursday, Friday, and then today it's just picking right back up from where we ended the work week, unfortunately. And fire conditions look to continue on tomorrow. Still got a very similar setup with the dry line in place. You know, eastern counties, rain, storm potential, very spotty. And then pretty much the rest of the area is just very high fire dangers. So, same situation again for tomorrow.
I think that's why it's so.
All right, so still getting some great images here from around the area, of course, of the Blue Diamond Fire. And you did hear Johnny mention it. We were talking a little bit about it earlier as well. They kind of re-upped that fire warning for the Amarillo landfill. That's that stinky fire that you see there above us. That's a live shot from our Sky Tracker here at News Channel 10. They've upped that fire warning until about 8:30. So, of course, we talked about the voluntary evacuations that are underway there, kind of around the Whitetail area. So if you're in that region, there's some voluntary evacuations underway. way. If you want to find the latest information on who's being evacuated and who's not, as far as we know, no mandatory evacuations in effect right now, but you can still go to newschannel10.com, see that latest information there. But still seeing some pretty striking images. Is still the largest fire in our region right now is the Blue Diamond fire. That one's currently at about 500 acres and 0% contained is the last update we have seen. But as you can see, aerial crews are really doing all they can to make sure get those fires knocked down here as of right now. This is from our storm chaser, John Doherty. He's there on 385, just kind of north of Boys Ranch, getting some pretty solid shots of those aerial crews really doing some great work right now. So we're going to continue to tag along with that. Of course, we had, you heard John and Zach kind of updating on where they're at, what they're seeing as of right now as well. And then Doppler Dave, you know, he's been there off in the eastern side of the Texas Panhandle. Hasn't really been seeing all that much going on. And so, Dave, if you can hear us real quick, just kind of talk about what you've been seeing out there and what's really been kind of inhibiting, you know, the development that, you know, of course, we were originally anticipating there east of the dry line. Doesn't really look like anything significant's fired up here recently. So, Dave, what's kind of been the major limiting factor, at least, of what y'all have seen so far?
You know, you really, I think it's just maybe a few degrees cool. We needed some low to mid 90s out here to bust the cap, and I think it kind of held closer to 91, 92. I mean, we got the moisture just surging in. I know you guys have been talking about that on the east side of the dry line. The moisture's actually increased, and the Storm Prediction Center was getting pretty excited, talking about maybe issuing a tornado watch, but it just hasn't come together. You see what we're looking at is about the most robust we have in the area right now. Just some cumulus clouds are not really growing vertically, and I think our window of opportunity may have come to a close here, and that's good. I mean, as far as severe weather and hail and tornadoes, I think we're going to dodge the bullet there, but you know, we sure need moisture, sure need some rainfall, and tomorrow's just going to be another day behind the dry line. I think from what I can see, the dry line might push a little further outside of our area, and that may preclude any storm chances, but tomorrow's going to be another wildfire threat, just like we're tracking out there today. So we'll continue to be on our toes. But out here in the eastern Panhandle, doesn't look like it's going to come together for heavy storms. We're going to give it a little bit longer, but peel back off pretty soon here and head your way, Sheldon. I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, so Dave, we were actually just looking at that. You were talking about those temperatures, and Jane was just showing me, I mean, they're up near Canadian, it's 93, but then we're seeing in Pampa, it's 99 degrees. I mean, talk about just how little a difference that little difference in temperatures can make.
Yeah, you know, you just have to get warm enough to overcome the cap. It can come down to a degree or two. And if you don't get it, you don't get any storms at all. If you do, you might have explosive development. So we were just kind of right on the cusp here today, but probably going to get by without the storms actually taking off.
All right, Dave, thanks for that report. And so, of course, we're going to bring up here real quick. We want to go ahead and pop up our camera. This is from our News Channel 10 studios. So we're, of course, you know, way north of town. This is a live look at what's being called the Stinky Fire. And you heard Johnny say it himself, that's a very fitting name for it because, of course, it is burning there at the Amarillo landfill. You're still seeing that smoke out there. The wind, you know, certainly kind of pushing all that off there to kind of the northeast right now. So we're continuing to kind of keep an eye on that here for right now. But Johnny was telling us there on stream just a second ago that he was starting to see some smoke there from where they're at. So Johnny, remind us again where you're at and what it's looking like from where you're at as you're getting closer to the Blue Diamond fire right now.
Yeah, so we just passed Vega. We are northeast, or at least heading northeast on 385, heading to Boys Ranch. So you can see the southern side of where that smoke is. This is a different advantage point from where John is. He's on the northern side, getting a different perspective on it. We're not seeing anything in terms of planes. I was catching some shots of planes or helicopters going around dropping buckets of water. We're not quite seeing that right now, but we are seeing some smoke being picked up. Quite a bit of fires going on here in Boys Ranch still on. We're going to continue to get closer to this and give you more updates here as we drive along 385 and get into Boys Ranch here.
smoke kind of a clip.
Okay, it looks like we might be getting a little bit of technical issues. We know, of course, they're along 385. We all know how cell service can be a little sketchy out there sometimes, so we'll wait for Johnny's stream to kind of get back going a little more reliably. But still keeping an eye there. But I also want to talk about as well, we're going to pull this up real quick. Give me just a moment. What we're going to pull up here there on the screen is kind of see what we're seeing when it comes to what we're looking at on satellite and radar. And so what this is looking at, this is looking for infrared heat. So really what we're kind of watching for here is those black spots that you're seeing. It's kind of hard to spot at times, but you'll see kind of right up there in Oldham County. We did see it temporarily here around Amarillo. I'm going to go ahead and circle what we're watching. As you see kind of right there, there was a very small lived kind of, hot spot right there. And then here's the Blue Diamond fire. They're up in Oldham County. So those are the things I really watch for. The good news is the one down near Amarillo, it started to kind of go away. We had a little black spot there. It started to get a little more dark where it's almost going away entirely. And then that one up in Oldham County is starting to kind of go away a little bit as well. And so that really shows that the crews are really kind of getting everything knocked down right now.
No, definitely. And the good thing is, as we go throughout the course of the evening, we've talked about that dry line. With it retreating and with us getting those dew points much higher, that's just going to help those crews out even more, especially as we go into Monday morning. But the good news, again, the good news is we're starting to see both of those hot spots start to temper down, at least for the time being. So hopefully the trend continues. But still, if you're in that area and you have any deal with any respiratory illnesses, do your best to avoid the area or wear a mask if you have it.
Yeah, that's the thing is, the air quality really is not going to be very good with that blowing smoke. Looks like we still have about 40 minutes or so left on that fire warning up in Oldham County right now. That one's in effect until about 7:30 Texas time. And then we have that, of course, the one down in Potter County there near the Stinky Fire is currently in effect until about 8:30 this evening. So we're going to be watching for that to, continue. We'll see, one of those situations, it would be great if they could cancel them a little bit sooner. We're going to go ahead and pull back here.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we're getting some pretty amazing shots here. This is from our storm chaser, John Doherty, right now. There, you're seeing the flames. They're right up against the side of the road right now, right up against the guardrails. So, that's
very close.
Very, very close right now. As you can see, those fire crews out there. But traffic is moving right now, as well as they're,
Just watching to see how close it gets with which way it looks to be moving.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which direction we're looking here.
Yeah, it looks like I would assume they're probably there on the west side. As you can kind of see, that smoke is kind of blowing there away from that shot. And so it looks like they're probably kind of on the west-southwest side of that. So the good news is the wind is not blowing the flames towards 385, which I believe that's the road that they're sitting on right now is 385. But as you can see, those flames are still extremely close. And so this is one of those situations, we kind of talked about this on Thursday and Friday as well. Of course, a lot of people, they want to go and see, these crazy sights that we're showing here on stream. They want to see the helicopters, they want to see the planes, they want to see the flames up close and personal and everything. But this is a situation too, you want to kind of try to keep that traffic to a minimum because the fire crews are out there trying to make sure that these flames get knocked down.
No, yeah, especially the fire crews. And even if you somehow find your way in harm's way, you need to be able to get out of the way of it with all the congestion on the road as well. And sometimes these fires can be unpredictable as well, especially when we get winds. We talk about wind shifts as well, which we're not expecting too many today, which is the good news.
Right.
But especially for those when we have our cold front coming through tomorrow, any fires that we have, that can also change and also cause travel problems for anyone on the road. So that's why we tell you guys, abstain from these areas as best as possible, just because we also want to have those emergency crews get there as fast as they can so we can start containing those fires.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we want to let those crews do their work. You're seeing firefighters actually walking around there on stream, so we're going to pull this up. Just going to turn that down real quick. We're going to get... All right, here we go. So we're going to take this up a little bit more full screen so you can kind of see it a little bit better. So this is from our storm chaser, John Doherty. There you can see this is, I believe this is on 385. You can see fire crews sitting there trying to knock down those flames right now. So we're really getting some amazing shots right now as those flames are right up against the highway. And that's one of the situations where we know generally the wind is blowing it away. But the thing is there's a whole bunch of, dry grass all right here that those flames can feed on. And so even though the wind isn't necessarily blowing the fire that direction, this fire can kind of almost back build almost, if you will, because there's fuel that fire can burn. So you can see those crews. We're going to sit and watch this for a second because we're really getting some amazing shots of those fire crews. Definitely sending all the best. Praying for our firefighters out there because they've got a tough job with all that dry grass. Because I don't know off the top of my head here, Jaden, I'll pull it up real quick, but just how little rain we've gotten. Just in 2026 so far. So all those fields after all that moisture we got last year, it's just so dry out there right now.
No, yeah, definitely. And even we talked about this earlier in our stream, if you've done any walking in these farmlands or whatnot, you can hear the crackling of the grass as well as you're walking on it, and it's just it's amazing how dry everything is, how much little rain we've seen so far this year, and it's not helping the cases right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here comes another plane.
Look at the planes coming in. We've also seen some footage as well of those planes scooping water out of Lake Meredith. So glad that they have an area nearby where they can go to fill up on water. But the crazy thing is at least in the city of Amarillo proper, where of course the Amarillo National Weather Service kind of keeps those records, we're currently sitting at 1.19 inches of moisture on the year. That's since January 1st. We should be at just over 5 inches right now for this time of year. So, so we're so far. We're almost 4 inches below average for this time of year. So after getting, a nice wet year last year, all those grasses grew. It was really good. But the problem is now is that those grasses have dried, and obviously you see the issues that causes there. So glad that those aerial crews are out there trying to get that knocked down.
Sheldon, we talked about it back building. It looks like it's trying to do that a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. You think wind direction, everything should be moving up towards kind of the northeast, which would be away from where John is standing right now. So we're definitely, John, if you can hear us right now, stay safe where you're at. But because of all that dry grass behind where the fire is burning, it's going to sit there and move towards where it can burn things. And unfortunately, there's just that much more dry grass behind it that it can catch on fire.
Yeah, and you see all the burned vegetation on the ground too, because as we were just talking about it initially, you saw the flames and also saw the smoke, but it could just be with the firefighters knocking it down. But it looks like it has been, unfortunately, going the wrong way. And again, we have all this fuel in the air. The winds are still howling out of the south and west, and still pretty dry out there. We have humidities that are in the single digits, close to 5%, Sheldon. That is very dry air.
Critically dry. And so, when you see us talking about, we have that graphic you were showing it earlier, Jane, saying extreme fire danger. That's not, an over-exaggeration at all. That's what we're seeing out there in conditions like this. You see just how bad it can get in such a short period of time. And so we'll pull that back up here real quick. If you want to just show some current conditions, give me just a second here. We'll make sure we get this pulled up so we can see exactly what's happening around the area and just how bad these conditions really are, because unfortunately it is a pretty dire situation as we're seeing those planes. That's another impressive sky. That gives me just a whole newfound respect for those firefighters, in those planes putting those flames out, because that is some wild stuff for sure. But let's talk about those current conditions here real quick, Jaden.
No, yeah. And the good news is, I will say, the good news is, compared to where we were 30 minutes ago, you're starting to see that dry line retreat a little bit here.
Yeah.
Earlier in the evening, it was off towards the east on this side. Now we're seeing it retreat back a little bit, hence my drawn arrow, but it's starting to come back a little bit, which is some good news. We're going to see those moisture values increase a little bit over the course of the next few hours. So that's going to help as we go into the overnight hours and into Monday morning with crews fighting these fires. And we're also going to see winds come down as well. So if we're taking a look at wind gusts, we're still seeing winds gusting upwards of 30 miles per hour. Not as high as the 40 that we saw earlier, Sheldon, but they're still pretty blustery, and especially with all of the fuel and the conditions we have outside for these wildfires to spark, most of these strong winds are not doing it any favors.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, we want to remind folks, because, usually you want to think about, we've seen gusts 60 to 70 miles an hour here in the Texas Panhandle. Of course, that can cause a whole host of issues. But you think back to Thursday and Friday when the Hungate fire was at its worst. We were barely gusting to 30 that day. And so even gusts that, by Texas Panhandle standards around 30 miles an hour, it's not extreme. But obviously, we're seeing here firsthand, just the issues that it can cause, here in our areas. We're seeing, some, like I said, just some striking images from the Blue Diamond fire there on 385 right now.
And if you look closer,
yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, and if you look closer, we can look closer in on this image right now. You see firefighters are still getting closer. It looks like the fire is still backtracking towards the highways. So we're just going to sit here and watch this footage as the firefighters continue to do their effort to contain this fire. You see all the flames. It's moving off to the left of the highway as well.
All right, we'll get you pulled up.
I think it's right behind.
Okay, so here we go. So we're going to send things out to Zach and Johnny. They're out in the field. They're also getting some pretty great images as well of some of the flames. So Johnny, tell us what you're seeing right now and exactly where you're at.
Johnny and I are out here on 385. Johnny's comms have gone down, but you can go ahead and join me in this, Johnny.
Yeah, for sure.
We are on 385, and we're looking at some pretty intense flames right here on an overpass. We've had plenty of flyovers from aircraft support. Go ahead, Johnny. What do you think of what's going on?
Yeah, we on the way down, and keep in mind we've been traveling northeast on 385. We saw 2 planes coming by this area and dumping water across these fires, and this is really hard to see. We've seen a lot of fields of just burnt debris across the area, and fires are still ongoing. You can see that fireman right there trying to do his best to put out those flames, but those flames are just super conducive with just the dry heat, the temperatures, and the wind. It's all just spreading rapidly. And so this is right along the 385 and the 1061 intersection. This is where we're pretty much at right now with where these flames are. So all this is blowing northeast and heading off towards across the park area. But yeah, just definitely hard watch right now with all these flames ongoing here. And I haven't seen any visuals of the planes. Have you?
I mean, we've seen the planes fly by here, and they were kind of flying over this very area. So we currently don't see anything. I'm going to try to pull off a little bit more. Maybe I can get out and take a look with my eyeballs.
Yeah. Seems like it might be more down into the valley here. Yeah, we might eventually have to back up.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how quick it's coming up here.
Yeah, we're gonna reposition and maybe see if we can get some more visuals on this.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are still. I'm back on. I'm back on. All the dry grass. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna change the atlas here so you guys can get a different perspective here. Wow. Oh my gosh, this is awful to see. Wow.
Wow. Holy guacamole. Oh, was that John in the white car?
And I lost our signal again. Oh man.
Oh, wow.
And we got even more down here. This is where we seen the planes just drop the water down. And then we turn it over to the right. Look at all of just the burnt areas here.
This area has been hit so hard by wildfires this year. This is the 3rd fire, I believe, in the Valle de Oro / Boys Ranch Crater area.
Has it really been 3? Wow.
And
that's awful.
They've just been getting slammed time and time again.
They just can't catch a break.
No, unfortunately, it's...
Wow. I mean, on the way down, like I said earlier, we were driving along this interstate, and you know, there's just fields of black from previous fires along this way, and it's just really hard to see. And it's just unfortunate that it's just kicking right back up again. Well, it's been going throughout the day here.
We're gonna move down a little bit, see if we can get some closer visuals on this fire downhill.
Yeah. Looks like I'm back on Unity, so Sheldon and Jaden can hear me.
There we go. Yeah, that is a
sweet
heck of a
huge area of smoke. Wow. Oh yeah, we see a little bit of flame on that little hill there.
We're gonna pull over right at the top of this.
Yeah, that'll be a great
hill.
spot to stop.
Hopefully we can bring you some better visuals in just a second.
There's a little bit of an obstruction here. Quite.
Oh, just a little bit.
Yep.
And right here is where we should be able to show you a little bit better of a shot.
Hopefully. Let's see.
And right.
Oh yeah, right here should be good. And what's unfortunate is this is all just like dark smoke. Like these are legitimate fires. What is a big difference compared to our first fire of the day? We were over at the Amarillo landfill, known as the Stinky Fire, and that there wasn't really a whole lot of black smoke with that one. But this one, it's everywhere, unfortunately.
There.
Wow. Yeah, just see all that smoke being built up. Crossing 1061 here. Which, good call for them to shut it down. It's very unsafe, that's for sure. Yeah, 1061 is not passable. It's completely closed off, on at least on the merger from 385. Yep.
We've got crews that have.
If you guys see our shot, we got crews over here completely blocked it off, along with police,
Here, I'm gonna go talk
state
to
patrol.
Them. Go talk to them real quick.
All right,
See if they've got any info.
sounds good. Sheldon and Jaden, is there an update on the containment of this fire at all, or acres burned? You know what? I think I lost signal. Yes, he is. Yep. He's outside talking to state troopers and police, just trying to figure out the condition of the 1061 here.
So yeah, I just talked with officers, and they have Tascosa Road shut off all the way from 385 all the way down towards Addy. So a big chunk of Tascosa Road is shut down right now. Alright, we're gonna make our
Turn
way
around
up
and
the
go
hill.
back. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna
I
make
did.
it. We're gonna go up this way first.
Okay.
And see if maybe we can get a coming from this way.
Yeah, for sure.
How is the landfill looking on the cam? Well, that's good.
And you guys said it was 5% contained on that one? On the stinky fire? Oh, wow. It's been a minute, yeah. Alright. Here's more visuals on the fires here at Boys Ranch, also known as the Blue Diamond Fire. Wow. That's awful. That's not what you want to see.
So right now we're heading south on 385. So we're looking at a southeastern perspective?
Yep. Yeah, southeastern perspective from where we are of the fires here. There's like two different hot spots that I noticed with these fires. It's one spot, which is the one that we have the camera on right now, but then if you keep going south on 385 here, there's another fire that is ongoing. It's actually right up against the road here, which we actually had to pivot and change direction here just because of the heat and the fire's just getting close to the vehicle. Obviously, safety comes first here.
Always.
No, we have not seen any planes come by. The only time that we did see two planes come by dumping buckets of water was about 30 minutes-ish ago when we were on the way down to Boys Ranch. We saw them on the horizon just dumping the water, but then after that, I'm not sure if they're just refueling or what the situation is there, but yeah, we haven't seen them in quite some time. But see, that was one fire. We're changing the camera off to the other patch where the fires are ongoing right now. Kind of hard to tell with the stream here, but there's just a bunch of just black spots of where the debris is from all these fires.
So you can see we've got flames.
Yeah, look at that.
On top of a big butte.
Yeah, this is right on top. Right on top.
Yeah, I don't even know how firefighters would even get up there.
Yeah, we haven't seen anybody at least try that at all. I think they're just kind of letting it go, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
That or, like I said, I'm not sure what the situation is with the planes, but we haven't seen the planes in a hot minute.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because it's so remote, they're having to do water runs.
Yeah. Earlier today, they were picking up water, gotcha. Man, that's just awful to see. Yeah, unfortunately, they're just letting it go. And you guys can just see how quick these fires are spreading. I mean, with how dry the ground is, the temperature, the dry atmosphere, the wind gusts, I mean, this is just, it's just a hard watch for sure. You can just see towards the left of the frame just all the stuff that's already been burned and how much left is still remaining. And just a reminder, the merge, or at least the intersection from 385 coming in northeast and getting onto 1061 is completely closed off. And how far down did you say it was closed off to?
Almost down to Addy. So almost to where you catch, a little bit before where you catch 1061 going to Bushland.
If you mind backing up just a little bit, I'm not able to get the shot of the fire here. There we go. Wow. Lots of flames going on here, unfortunately. Lots of flame. Sounds good, Sheldon. We got you. Wow.
Yeah.
And again, just look how quick it's spreading too.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping it.
No. I had to zoom in because it's focusing with the bush there.
Yeah.
There we go. For those that are tuning in, we are looking southeast on 385, pretty much on the split to 1061, and we are angled southeast into Boys Ranch, where we got a pretty serious situation going on, large fire going on over in Boys Ranch, and just over the last couple of minutes, we have seen this fire just rapidly spread across this top of the hill here. Calling this the Blue Diamond Fire. Over 500 acres have been burned, unfortunately, with this Blue Diamond Fire. And so far, we haven't heard of anything in terms of it being contained. And I mean, you can see in the shot here. On the way down here to Boys Ranch, there were two planes that were flying over, and now we just haven't seen any planes go by. We're assuming they're refueling. They should be flying by here again shortly, considering how these fires are going right now. What do you know what direction the planes are coming from?
They're right there. I can see them. Look. I can see them. They're right.
Oh yeah, there they are. Hey, we got visual on planes. Great call out. Thank you, Sheldon.
There's another one.
Thing is trying to get a good angle to just utilize the water they have.
There's the other one.
Yeah, the other one's to the left of the shot.
So I think these guys are going up towards where John Doherty is, where we had the flames initially. This thing has taken me 2 years to get used to how to control it.
Oh, yeah.
This thing is rough.
Yeah.
Look, they're about to jump.
Yeah, it looks like they're about to do it here. Yeah, he's definitely angled. He's positioning himself to do his thing. Oh, here we go. Here we go. He's going right into the top of the hillside, I think.
Come on.
There we go. And then we got plane 2 coming in from behind. Look at that. Wow. Doing what they can to take out these fires. Just an amazing shot.
That is like a photographer's dream right there.
Wow.
Yes, we got some.
So we got more.
So we'll get back to the flames now.
Yeah.
See,
Unfortunately, those flames are still going. Wow. Look at how much is burned.
Yeah.
I mean, when we first got here and started this shot, I mean, it was like on the edge.
Yeah, it was like right here.
And now it's like almost in the middle part of it. Let's see what they're gonna do here.
Might be going to refill.
Probably going back, yep.
Heading back towards Meredith. All right. I think we're going to go up this hill and see how the fighting on the fires towards the road's going. And then we'll come back here since we know we've got a good shot on this.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to ride down the road and see how the progress of the fire crossing the road is doing, folks.
So yeah, if you're just tuning in, we're watching 2 different sections where there's flames going on at Boys Ranch. I mean, it all started off as one large fire. Because so far, I mean, it's burned over 500 acres here at Boys Ranch. They call it the Blue Diamond Fire. And they're trying to do their best to contain it. It's definitely looking a lot better from what it was when it first started, of course. But yeah, there's 2 different sections now that they're trying to take care of in terms of stopping this fire here. We did just watch 2 planes fly over and dump buckets of water on the top of the hill there, just trying to stop the spread of that fire, and they're probably going to go back and refuel.
Yeah, and thankfully, you know, the winds aren't so bad that we can't have air support today, because it's so crucial in these remote, rough areas that our trucks just can't get to.
Yeah.
And
they're just, unfortunately, just letting it go.
I'm gonna let him pass.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you just see, we're getting back to the other section of where the fire is. And you just see all of the burnt grass and destruction just across. Burnt grass and brush and trees and you name it. It is just awful. Wow. Look at that. so much. Completely burned away.
Looks like they've done a good job of stopping that spread. From
Yeah,
across the
honestly,
road.
this first one is not looking as bad compared to what we saw when we first got here.
Yeah.
I mean, because even the flames that were along the road here, because when we first got here, there was flames just engulfed on the side of this street here, or this road, and now it's completely gone. So really the main focus is down here, where we have watched 2 planes come by and dump buckets of water here. So we're gonna just chill here and see if we could get different shots of these planes coming in.
See if we can get you a shot of this fire on the top of this butte from a different angle. Yeah, you can see the flames there.
Yeah. And just about 10 minutes ago, it just started burning on the top, and now it's almost done. That's just really unfortunate.
Yes, it is. But I mean, just give you all a perspective on some of the damage. I mean, this is a wide shot of the Val d'Oro Boys Ranch area, and
I mean, they weren't kidding when they said, you know, all the acres that were burned. I mean, our first stop to kick off this stream was over at the Amarillo landfill.
right.
And that was only 5 acres. To put that into perspective with this is 500 acres.
Much
Like,
bigger.
this is a massive fire that has been going on throughout today.
And there's no infrastructure for our first responders to access. It's all just the rough, you know. So
And we also just got word that the landfill fire is contained. So that is
Nice.
amazing to hear. Amazing news.
wow, look at it just go.
Just, yeah. It is just going along.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you're just joining us, we are out off of 385. We are facing north. This is the Boys Ranch Val d'Oro area. This is the 3rd time they've been hit by wildfires this year, and just bringing you a
Just-
live look with our meteorologist Johnny.
Yeah. Johnny Gormley. Yeah. And it's just been horrific seeing all the stuff that's been burned and seeing the fires that are still ongoing. You know, we've seen planes come by and dump buckets of water. That's been awesome to see. But just with how crazy the terrain is, we just haven't seen anybody else try to get in there and stop the fires. You know, they're just unfortunately letting these fires go, and you know, it's really hard to see, especially with how beautiful this area is.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the rough area, and you can kind of see there are some first responders
See,
at
they're
the
on
bottom of the
there.
hill. You
Yeah.
can kind of see there they're trying to make their way through. But it's tough fighting these fires out here in the hills.
Oh, absolutely. There's a terrain, everything that's within, you know, from trees, brush, and rocks, and
Even the
I don't know if you can see, it looks like there's a plane starting to come in from the northeast here.
oh yeah, we do.
Looks like he's starting to lower, so we'll see what he ends up trying to do here. Wow, look at that.
Thank goodness the wind hasn't been so intense that we can't have aircraft support.
I know. That's a blessing.
Absolute blessing.
And something to keep in mind about too, if you're planning on traveling along 385, we're right by the split into 1061. 1061 is completely closed off. They're not allowing anybody to go through there. How far again is it closed off down to?
Let me get that clarification here.
Yeah. I hear you now. What's going on? Sheldon is cutting in and out for me. Also, there is somebody behind us here.
Okay.
Hey, you guys need to clear out, get off the shoulder here.
Here,
Okay.
give us 1 second.
Okay.
What do you say?
He said get off the shoulder.
Okay. Sorry, what were you saying, Jaden? Really? So the fire warning for Oldham County has expired, which is terrific news. But with that said, we still have it for Potter County? Okay. No, for the Potter County one, I thought the fire over there was contained. Is there still a fire still going on over there? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Sounds good. So again, the fire warning that was set for this area has expired for Oldham County, and that is amazing news. Still got a little bit of fire, some smoke going on, but compared to what it was several hours ago when it first started especially, it has been contained quite a bit here. Let's see if we zoom in on the shot here. Still a little bit of flame being picked up on this hill here.
There's John.
Are you able to hear Sheldon and Jaden? Because I'm not able to.
I'm about to message him now.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, unfortunately, we might have to move.
Yeah, we just talked to a couple state troopers or just police in general, but they came up to us and told us to move, so we had to relocate to a new spot. We're still right along 385, almost on the split to 1061. And keep in mind, 1061 is still completely closed off, even though we did get some good news that the fire warning over in Oldham County has been set to expire. With that said, though, we still have a little bit of fires that are going on right now, but as far as, you know, where the fires are now compared to where they were several hours ago and this morning, it has been a big difference. So that is why they have allowed that thing to expire, or at least the flag warning or the fire warning to expire. So that's good news.
Absolutely.
But you're looking live, we're still seeing a little bit of flames there. But in general, that's pretty much all that we have seen so far in terms of what's left with this whole fire. They're calling this the Blue Devil fire, and 500 acres, or the Blue Diamond, and 500 acres have been burned so far.
Yeah, and this is a view of that butte that we had burning earlier. This is just from a different perspective. But we are probably going to be peeling out of here soon.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna probably head on back.
Yeah, things are starting to settle down here in Boys Ranch, which is good. Okay, thank you, Sheldon.
10-4.
Alrighty, well, we are starting to wrap things up here with the, I believe this is Chaser 2 vehicle. To put into perspective, today's been a very long day. We started off with the Amarillo landfill fire. That burned 5 acres, and that one, from what we've heard, has been contained, but the fire warning is still ongoing right now. Over the last hour or two, we've been over here at Boys Ranch Fire. 500 acres have been burned here, and at least comparing to what the fire is now to what it was when it first started has been major improvement. So that's why they've allowed that fire warning to expire here in Oldham County, as they've pretty much have contained a lot of this fire here at this point. But that is all that we got here with Chaser 2. We're going to send things back over to the studio where Sheldon and Jaden are going to wrap things up and give off a final forecast before we end the stream. So guys, back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Johnny. You really got some great shots out there as well, so we're kind of riding along with them right now. Also, just kind of keeping an eye on what's happening around the area. Of course, we're still keeping an eye on that fire warning he was talking about down in Potter County. That is the only fire warning left. That fire warning there up to the north has been allowed to expire. We're going to make some quick adjustments here real quick. All right, here we go. That fire warning has been allowed to expire. Now, the one that is in effect for Potter County is in effect until about 8:30. And so that one's going to go for just a little bit longer here for right now. Let's see here. That one's going to go for just about another 45 minutes. And the good news is only voluntary, evacuations are in effect. That's what you're seeing right there. That's what you're looking at live. Of course, we've been just keeping tabs on things here as we've gone throughout this evening. Of course, not really any severe weather threats off in the eastern side of the area. You heard Doppler Dave kind of call off that element of the chase today. So on this first alert weather day, the good news is we can pretty much declare pretty much an all clear on the severe weather threat. And so, Jaden, I'll pull you in here real quick. We'll pull this up because, like I said, it's been a pretty active afternoon. Like I said, we still have that one fire warning right now. But like I said, the good news is, you were telling me earlier, the dry line's retreating. And that's some good news.
No, yeah, definitely. We're starting to see the dry line retreat, and that's going to help those crews with those firefighting efforts, especially out near Boys Ranch, and getting that landfill fire fully contained, otherwise known as the stinky fire, as we've talked about the stream. But let's go ahead and just give you a final update how things are looking, what we're going to look like heading in tomorrow as well.
Good deal.
How
about that?
Thank you. We're going to stick around.
That was the first time I really kind of
some relief
took it over.
Right, yeah. So let's
great, man.
Yeah, that was awesome.
At least for today, we're going to give the all clear.
Yeah, because Alex was pretty much doing all the talking. He was like, if you got something to say, like if I forgot to mention anything.
Dave, the threat did not materialize, which is some good news.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing.
Some people like to fill in every second.
Severe aspect of it. The
The
good thing is that didn't materialize. We did have a few spotty showers, mainly up near Canadian and even just east of Perryton as well. So that's some good news. So we still have red flag warnings in effect for pretty much the entire region, and these are going to carry over into tomorrow, Sheldon, as well. So that's something we have to keep an eye on. Just saying, those wildfire conditions are going to linger into the first day of the new work week. We still got a fire warning in effect for Potter County. That's going to be at least for another 45 minutes or so, mainly for that stinky fire down near the Amarillo landfill. But crews have been getting that under control, especially as we've taken a look at our Skycam as well. So that's some good news. The fire warning in Oldham County near Boys Ranch has also been allowed to expire, so that's some good news, of course, as well. Taking a look at the recent wind gusts, still seeing winds pretty strong across the area, wind gusts between 30 to 40 plus miles per hour.
Yep.
But you can see that dry line across the area as well, just right to the west of Pampa, across the area as well, so near Pampa, Perryton. So we have some winds out of the south and west. The wind gusts aren't quite as strong, but you're starting to see a secondary surge of winds on the eastern side of the dry line. Hopefully, as we get that moisture filtering in, that's going to help limit that wildfire threat going into tonight.
Yeah, and that's something worth mentioning there. We're seeing, 30 to 40 mile an hour gusts behind the dry line there, but the good news is, like you're saying, is that's bringing in humid air into the region. And so while, yes, it does look a little daunting that it's like, oh no, we're getting 30 to 40 mile an hour gusts behind it, the good news is it's bringing in moisture with it, and that's really going to help, those firefighters, in their firefighting efforts out there. So it's good to see that humidity on the rise, and it's going to back up across much of the region as we go into tonight. And so as they're continuing, that's the thing, is we're still at 5% humidity, and they're making, great, great leaps in getting those fires knocked down in their current conditions, and it's only going to get easier the later in the day we go.
Exactly, and we'll just show you here those humidity values have increased quite a bit, especially over the last hour. We saw some teens over near Canadian shoulders and even Eastern Panhandle, but the retreating of the dry line, that's done some great things. That's going to hopefully continue throughout the course of the evening. So as we go throughout the next few hours into tomorrow morning, you're going to see that dry line retreat quite a bit, and look at those humidity values.
We love to see that, yes.
80s, 90s. Going to help with the crew efforts, and hopefully they can get those wildfires contained throughout the overnight hours as well. But watch what happens as we go into the afternoon. Dry line completely shifts back to the east, and even further east than what we saw today. East, even going into Ellis County and into Oklahoma as well. So that could limit some of the severe thunderstorm potential we could see tomorrow as well. But we're still looking at lots of areas with humidity in the single digits. Could get us down as 4% in Amarillo. So critically dry air, as we've been harping on throughout the course of the stream. And the winds are going to temporarily relax as well. You see around 10 o'clock tonight, winds around 15 to 20 miles per hour sustained. But again, on the other side of that dry line, you see that secondary surge of winds, mainly off towards the northeastern parts of the region. Thankfully, that moisture is going to help limit that fire weather potential, but we'll see if we can get a rumble of thunder out of that. Right now, chances aren't looking as likely as well. Then heading into the morning, once again, that widespread breezy winds continues across the area, but then going into the afternoon, that's when that next surge of blustery winds continues out of the southwest. Could see sustained winds up to 30 miles per hour, and with that, we are also watching for the potential of gusts in excess of 50 miles per hour, so a little bit stronger than what we saw over the course of the day today. But the good news is, as we go into the tomorrow evening, we're expecting a cold front that's going to pass through the area. So that's going to also bring another round of breezy wind, Sheldon, but also we're going to get a cool down as we head into Tuesday.
Yeah.
But taking a look at our fire weather outlook once again, we're expecting another level 3 out of 3 extreme fire danger for the Texas Panhandle, and this one encompasses more the News Channel 10 viewing area as well. It's much more widespread, so we definitely have to be on high alert as you go throughout the day tomorrow. Also watching for an isolated spotty shower or two. If one does develop, it could go severe as we still have elements in place, but again, it's just going to depend on how far east that dry line sets up. But if one does develop, damaging winds, large hail, and an isolated tornado can't be ruled out, but chances right now on that are looking quite low. So looking at your temperatures once again as you get ready, if you're still hanging out outside this evening, we're still in the 90s, but thankfully not as warm as we saw earlier. You see in Canadian on the eastern side of that dry line, you're down in the 80s, so that's some good news as well. We're going to start cooling quite efficiently. But taking a look at tomorrow, we're expecting another toasty day, mid-90s across the area, very windy. Some of those wind gusts could get up to 50 miles per hour, like we said, as well. But the good news is that cold front's going to be making its way on Tuesday, and with that, we're going to see some cooler temperatures, and maybe our weather pattern, and we're also watching for a weather pattern to shift this week just a little bit. May allow the chance for maybe a few showers or storms, so we'll have to watch for that.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the big thing that we're really going to be watching for here as we go throughout this week. Of course, we've got the high wind threat, extreme fire danger for tomorrow, but then the cold front on Tuesday, bring those temperatures down a little bit, and then, of course, we'll be looking ahead to, people have been asking about rain chances. Looking maybe kind of late this week. We'll have to wait and see. You make sure to tune in at 10 o'clock tonight. Jane will have the latest on your forecast there, but just kind of reiterate some of those main bullet points. We have one lone fire warning for Potter County. That's the Stinky Fire over the Emerald landfill right now. That's in effect for about the next 40 minutes or so. So we'll be watching for that to expire. The fire warning up near Boys Ranch has been allowed to expire. We heard from Johnny, who was out there live on the scene, saying it really looks like those firefighting efforts are really being successful so far, so we're glad for that. And we are hearing that the Stinky Fire, despite the fact that that fire warning is still in effect, it has been contained. And so that's some good news there. And we'll continue our news crews. We'll gather more information, so watch the news at 10. And, of course, NewsChannel10.com is going to be a great resource as we go throughout the rest of this evening. And just with any wildfire event.
Exactly.
We want people to stay tuned.
No, yeah, definitely. And even if stuff does pop up tomorrow, we're going to be here, help keeping you guys in the know as well. But hopefully we're going to see this calming trend continue, especially into Monday, Sheldon.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the whole point of these streams right here, is keeping you informed. We keep an eye on things here in the studio. Of course, we have our chase teams out as well. So should any more crazy weather be happening around the region, make sure to stay tuned for latest updates on that. But in the meantime, this is about do it for us for our Sunday evening stream right here. We appreciate y'all watching, following, tracking with us. Stay safe out there and stay tuned for any more updates on wildfire weather around the region. And we'll continue to be praying for rain. You got anything else you'd like to add?
No, pray for rain. Let's go throughout the course of this week. Let's hopefully get some.
Absolutely. All right, y'all take it easy and have a good rest of your Sunday evening.